and I'm used to having to get things done so quickly. But there in Spain, he was like, oh yeah, I come back on Wednesday and we'll pick up on it or start on this. We'll get back to that later. So it was kind of refreshing to just really not be worried about getting it done so quickly, so I could maybe focus on it more, call my dad after work and ask him for his advice. And it was just kind of nice to have some time. Next, I wrote about how I had to do a lot of research. So the first couple times when I went in, my supervisor knew that I probably had no clue about any of this stuff, what he was selling and what we were building. And so he had me do a lot of research. Back to the basics even, I had to research just even what silicone wafers were, what sputtering targets were, so that I could know what I was talking about. So that took a lot of time out of my hours, was just researching. And another part of that research was researching my competitors, my Photon Exports competitors, and how they built their websites and how they wrote about their little descriptions of each thing they sold. So that took a lot. That was a lot. I did that for like 3 weeks, I would say. Honestly, like half of the time I was at Photon Export, I was researching and trying to absorb what I was supposed to be doing, which is very unfortunate because I would have been able to apply that for the last 2 months that I was supposed to be there working. So it's very unfortunate that I couldn't apply that knowledge that I gained to benefiting them and helping them write. So that was kind of a bummer. I also spoke about how working on a team with people from a different culture was a very valuable experience for things that I've already talked about, that I learned how to communicate even with a language barrier. I learned that not everything is like the United States, where it's so quick and sometimes work isn't thought about as much as they do in Spain, and they just care about what they're doing, and that was just very interesting. I also noticed that they have a more relationship-oriented culture. They rely on each other and they take each other's opinions very seriously, as opposed to the United States, where it's very task-oriented. That's probably the main thing I noticed there. And of course, I learned so much from having this incredible opportunity to participate in an internship while studying abroad. Obviously, I touched on this a lot, but I think the most valuable thing I learned was the communication, because I didn't get much time to learn a lot into the business or a lot into the science part, but I just really learned a lot about communication and communicating about when I'm going to be there, when he's out, when he needed me to get in to the office by myself. He needed me to run errands. He needed me to pick up this. Like, just the communication was huge, and I can't imagine learning these sorts of skills in any other situation, in any other workplace. My internship experience also taught me a lot of patience, because most of the time, as I said, I didn't have a clear task to complete. I learned to deal with ambiguity, because I don't do very well with that. There I had no choice, so I'm really glad that I was pushed to my limit to learn how to go with my gut and to deal with really not having a set task at hand. Spain, of course, also taught me that it's okay to slow down, and that I don't always need to know exactly how to do something, and I can kind of just take the wheel and learn how to do it myself. And I think that was a very valuable lesson for me. Another thing that was probably the overall biggest takeaway for me was that I've never had an internship before, and I've worked here and there, but I've never had to go to an office and sit down and work. And so this really gave me a lot of time management and like an introduction to the adult world, and obviously time management, because I had to put aside sometimes 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a week, because commute was hour, and then 8 hours in the office. That's a lot of hours when the rest of my friends are partying or going out to dinner and shopping and walking around. And this was hard for me to have to say, I can't do this after class. I've got to go to work. I got to go take a nap, and then I got to go to work. My commute home is going to be an hour. This was very difficult for me, but I know that it will benefit me for the rest of my life, that I already know how I have to balance fun and work, and I have to go to class, and then I got to go to work, and just can't blow it off. I can't call in sick. Like, I don't know. I'm just really glad that I went through that and disciplined myself. So I'm very fortunate that I was able to figure this out before going off into the real world. And Oh, yes. Also, regarding my future, my resume. I know that this internship will significantly help my resume because, one, as I said, I've never had an internship before, so first internship, great thing to start with. Also, obviously, working abroad, it's pretty cool. I'm sure that'll stand out to some people that are hiring, especially in a time like this where a lot of people are looking for work right now. I'm hoping that I will be able to stand out by speaking about how I was able to work abroad and be successful for the most part. I'm capable of efficiently adapting to a brand new environment and able to communicate successfully with people who spoke a completely different language. I look forward to bragging about that, hopefully, and seeing where that will take me. I learned how to take initiative, trust my own instincts, instead of constantly seeking guidance and approval. I'm sure that will be very attractive to people that are hiring as well, because they don't always want to be telling their interns what to do all the time because they have their own stuff to do. So I'm hoping that will stand out as well. I overcame the fear of unknown, and I taught myself how to travel around the world with my own assurance, and I know that those skills will greatly benefit me in a new workplace, and that I will continue to build on my self-confidence. So it is difficult for me to identify things that I could have done better during my internship because I wasn't there for that long. I pretty much had literally just learned how to get there without using my map app, like right before we were sent home, which is such a bummer. Like, it was really difficult to get there from where I lived, so I always had to use my maps, and I finally had it down and like didn't have to cheat. Then we got sent home, but I'd barely gotten into the real depths of my job. As I mentioned before, I was kind of just like building my research and building my knowledge, my background knowledge, and then it didn't even get the chance to really go deep into the website and like go deep into actually publishing the content I was writing. I can only hope that what I have already written benefited them a little bit, at least. But so that was a bummer. Now that I look back, when I was thinking about more advice that I could have gotten from them, I wish that I had reached out and spoken to them a little bit more while we were in the office for so long, because I know they weren't working all the time. I'm sure they could have had time to answer a few questions regarding Spain or regarding travel. So I definitely could have used them to my advantage a little bit more. But they were always there when I needed them. They always answered any questions that I had. They were incredible. So I am very fortunate about that. And of course, as for the internship team, I do not remember coming across any issues in regards to my internship, and everything was handled very well. They responded very quickly every time I had an issue. I had many issues over the 2 months, and everyone responded so kindly and really catered to my needs all the time. And the seminar meetings, I really wanted to mention that the seminar meetings added actual value to my knowledge and gave me a better understanding of not only Spain but the business world. And I don't want to say that other classes didn't give me a lot of knowledge, but this seminar specifically gave me some real beneficial knowledge that I will still hold me with me today, whether it was about resumes, resume building, traveling, Spain, the coronavirus, politics, everything. I can genuinely say I learned the most relevant content in this seminar. And of course, I gained one of the most irreplaceable, I had one of the most irreplaceable experiences of my life, that I'll never get to experience it again, working abroad. Thank you for everything, and thank you for being so patient with me, and I'm incredibly proud and fortunate to have been a part of this program. So thank you for everything, and I'm sorry that this is a late video. I apparently never submitted this 2 times, so thank you.